Coming up on the Sunday roast, the showies are back. The Blues stink.
Jev.
Attacked us.
Yeah, Jev, we absolutely stink, but there's one thing that doesn't stink. This week, July 19th, Saturday, Pink Lemonade, the very first 100K house. Get your tickets, $10. This week's going to be awesome. Sunday roast. Let's go.
Let's go, 100K house. Listen to the bros. Enjoy it. Let's go.
And now, 100K Sports and PointsBet presents the Sunday Roast.
Welcome back to the Round 18 edition of the Sunday Roast, the show that celebrates the winners and roasts the losers, the show that gives you all the best odds of the bet you weren't on but wish you were. Joining me as always, Darcy Ballard. Dobe, how are you, brother?
Jev, I'm good. Another great week so far of football. As always, we're recording the first half on the Sunday morning as it is the Sunday Roast. We're going to get into it, Jev. We're going to do a little bit of like a reverse ramble here. So I just want to start off with you. Who would you say are the top three to win the Brownlow right now? I've got the odds up right now.
Off the top of my head, it would be
the top three.
Dacos, Anderson, and Jordan Dawson.
That is correct. So it's Dacos, Dawson, then Anderson at $6. I think I'm starting to sell on Bailey Smith. Yep. I know that he started the season super hot. Watching him yesterday, I just thought you can't have these sorts of distractions. And so I'm almost not putting a line through him, but I don't think no. $6.50. Caleb Serong at $17. Also, that's a no from me. Tom Green, he might get close at 34, but I don't think so.
Too far
Matt
behind.
Rowell at $34, 100% I'd still buy on him. He
You
just
like
pulls
Rowell?
votes. 100% 34. Ed Richards at $41.
I love Ed Richards at 41.
100% I'd still be buying that. Hugh McCluggage at 51. 100% I'm still buying that. Bontempelli, I'm not too sure on 67s. Will Ashcroft 67s, but I'm just saying Hugh McCluggage at $51 and Ed Richards at 41. It just feels awesome.
What's Zach Butters?
Zach Butters, he's still at $81, so I'm still buying him as well.
We bought it the other day. If he has 3 votes today, that's going to cut down to 15 to 1.
I also just want to quickly...
It's another $10 today.
Go on as well. Premiership favourites. Jev, what would you say the top 4 are?
Collingwood, Geelong, Brisbane, and Adelaide.
It's still the Dogs there. So Collingwood at $3.75, Brisbane at $5.50, Geelong at $5.50, and the Western Bulldogs at $7. Adelaide I love as a little smoky bet because there's always a team that pops up. But let's get into Thursday night footy, Jev.
You've delayed long enough. I'm looking through your little games here. Let's talk about Carlton and how bad they are. You've lost to the Lions by 37 points.
Let's talk about Brisbane first, which is what I want to get into. $5.50. Think this is their premiership to lose. I think they are the best team in the AFL. We weren't sure about them a few weeks ago. I was still positive on them. You were saying maybe they're a team that slides out. I'm like, Jev, I don't think so. I think they're too good. Even with Ainsworth going down, they get Coleman to come back in this week. This team is so close to complete. It's unbelievable. Their midfield is incredible. There was a few stoppages on the weekend where the ball went up, hold it in, and then there's about 19, 20 players that come in, and Ashcroft just dishes it out. They all get it out. They are so clean by hand. Ashcroft's incredible, and what a privilege it is. Actually, if you're the opposition, if Dunkley comes to you, you shake his hand and you say, thank you. Thank you for the acknowledgement. Dunkley is an absolute freak. They just look like an experienced team that have the monkey off the back, as we said, because they won the flag last year. They're a Will Ashcroft away from going from a three-peat this year, I believe, because I believe if he played in that 2023 grand final, he would have got them over the edge. Not taking anything away from Collingwood. That was an awesome game. But the fact that Will Ashcroft wasn't in that side, I think plays a huge part. Dunkley is just the ultimate diffuser. So he won the medal on the weekend. He had 28 touches, I think 13 clearances, 13 tackles, and he just does absolutely everything right. Cam Rayner's finally coming to the floor. Like, he looks like the most explosive player in the AFL when he's playing really good. They are just such a professional side, and I just feel after winning last year, it's just business. Like, they come in, they win games. It's like Geelong when they're really good. They win games. It's like they're not singing too loud in the rooms after games. Same as Collingwood. It's like, all right, let's just keep gearing up to September. I think they're the best team in the game. Carlton, on the other terms, same thing we talk about them every week. It's toys out of the cot. It just feels like kicks aren't going right. It's like perceived pressure. You know what it looks like to me? When Carlton used to play under Mick Malthouse and you heard players that were so scared to bite off kicks, because he would show up in the film room. It's just like they almost want to take the easier one. So then it's like the ball's out of their hands. I don't know. It just feels like we're not playing a good attacking brand. We're not trying to take the game on. And it's just showing, it looks like so many players have checked out. It does look like Tom DeConing's like, oh, I'm taking a paycheck next year. Cripps, whether he's like been under injury the last few weeks. I don't know. It's just a lot of small mistakes. So, as I said,
you looked like a VFL side. Like you looked like Brisbane's twos at training. Brisbane were playing their twos in a scratch match to get ready for a game, and they were just doing what they wanted. Das, I'm glad you talked about Josh Dunkley. I wrote down a bit of a take. Is Josh Dunkley one of the 10 most valuable mids in the competition? I'm trying to say it as I'd rather Josh Dunkley at the Swans than Jason Horne-Francis, because we've got Errol, Chad, and Isaac. What Josh Dunkley does is so valuable. I can't say it.
Valuable.
It's so good for a side that's going for a premiership, basically. Someone like Dunkley, who stands on and beats the opposition's best midfielder every week, gets 28 touches, lays 13 tackles. He can take a contested mark as well. Had one on Thursday night. Doesn't lose one-on-ones. Can pop up for a goal. I saw him do it to Isaac grand final day. Just completely shut him out of the game. He's done it to Cripps this year. He's done it to Bailey Smith this year. He's done it to that many. He's done it to Caldwell when he got hot for the Bombers. He is just like if you're trying to win a premiership, he is that valuable to have on your side. I can't get over. One for the Blues fans, Darcy, and I'm asking this to all the Blues fans, but I want to ask you directly. Would you rather sat at pick 11 and drafted Murphy Reid and now have your first round pick this year, pick 5, or Jagger Smith off an ACL and the hope of Jagger Smith not knowing what you've got?
Well, hindsight's, fucked if I know. Who knows? Like, Jagger might come out in the next few years and just be an absolute jet, as they all said he was probably the best kid in the draft. I actually don't know. Like, I actually don't know. Like, whether next year's crop of kids is any good. I was so excited this year. We were so excited for Jagger. I'm like, how exciting is this kid going to be? Yeah, I don't know, because I genuinely don't know the answer to that question. I can't give you an end of the show. I'm just
I know you love Murphy Reid. I'm like, that's who would have been sitting there at pick 11 when you drafted. So
yeah, like he's a gun. He's 100% a gun. But I still am so excited because it looks like every kid from this draft is a good one.
You finally got some players in. It looks like can play.
It looks like that they're all good. But I want to touch back on Dunkley. So I feel when you look at if a player wins a flag, it means different depending on how much they mean to the team. Like, would you think anything different of Jason Castagna if he didn't win the 3 flags? I know that his role, like, you would, but like, you know, him as a player, it's just like how much, like, yes, he means a lot to the team, but what Dunkley does to that team, and then if he wins a flag, so look how good he is at the Dogs, and then he comes to Brisbane. Yeah. You look at like his game
wins premierships. Like,
how much valuable he is to that side.
He's like Andre Iguodala for the Warriors. Like, that's what he is. He wins premierships for you. Like, every team should be calling him in the offseason. I know he's probably not going anywhere. If you want to win a flag, you get a Josh Dunkley in the side.
So that's why we have to look back maybe next week or maybe on the pod. We will go back and just look how right the Dogs got their selections in the last, 7 years.
Yes.
They just had Bailey Smith, him. They just have so much talent.
Darcy, Dunkley.
They just have all these guys, but then able to push these guys out. So they're recruiting guys. It's like if they dish someone out, it's like, that's fine. We know we've got someone else coming in. So the Dogs are just in a really good spot with that. But yeah, I think Brisbane are the best team in the comp. I think that it's theirs to lose. I
can't believe that. I'm still not fully sold.
I am.
I bet you Brisbane are begging not to run into GWS. They've got way too much firepower for their forward line. They cannot man up on GWS's forward line.
Yeah, I just love them, though.
I think GWS can defend Brisbane's, if their midfield beats GWS midfield, they will be terrified to run in GWS. That's just my take anyway. Before we move on from this game, just quickly, is there a more overrated player or a bigger myth in the AFL than Charlie Curnow? He is the biggest myth the AFL has ever seen since Mythbusters. He hasn't kicked a goal in 4 weeks, Stars. What has happened to him? It's embarrassing.
But yet, I wouldn't say the biggest myth in the AFL because he's definitely not a myth because he's shown for ages that he can play. This year, definitely hasn't. His last 4 weeks haven't been good, hasn't kicked a goal in front of goal. But this week, he was actually competitive. He actually came up the ground. He got a stack of the ball, was taking marks. I think even though he didn't kick a goal this week, you could argue it's been his best, one of his better games this year. I genuinely thought he competed. He was trying to kick. He was actually hunting the ball. So, like, if you didn't watch the game and you'd be like, yeah, he didn't kick another goal, but you actually watch him, he was up the ground. He was actually looked like he did want to be there compared to previous 6 to 8 weeks. So, I won't say he's a myth. I definitely think that I genuinely thought that he competed like most of the night and like had a crack. He missed some goals and like whatever. You cop that. And look, I know we're not playing finals this year, but he turned it for me. I feel that on Thursday night. I watched him. I'm like, nah, like he looks like he actually was trying out there. You know what I mean? Like you could tell he's frustrated. He's missing goals and he's like laughing at himself. He's like, fuck me. Like, you know what I mean?
He looks like someone that's playing for another team next year as well, I believe. Let's
roll
on. Gold Coast. Oh, you got some odds? Sorry, you got some odds?
Yeah, I do. Charlie Cameron for 3 was $4. Morrison kicked 2 again, but he was paying $1 fuck all. Cam Rayner for 2 was $2.75. Mark Pitnet with one of the best torps of all time.
That was awesome.
He kicked 2 goals at $31. George Hewitt for 30 at $2.90. Darcy Wilmot couldn't get him for 30, but for 25 was $9. Now, Lockie Neale, Jev, for 30 touches was $4. This was actually StatMate's top trend. So he's averaging 32.8 over his last 5 at Marvel. All other stadiums, 23.8. So they had it there.
Loves it under the lid.
It had it linked. Can you imagine if he played in Victoria? Can you imagine? And then you had Ashcroft, Zorko, Dunkley, Cripps, and Chera all for 25. They're around $2.20 to $1.70. So nothing massive on that one.
Just saying that. Lockie Neale grew up in Adelaide, drafted to WA, then went to Queensland. He's never, ever been in the Victorian bubble. He probably tells the young boys that come into the Lions and the guys that come from Vic, like how they drafted McCluggage and Cam Rayner over a couple of drafts. He just goes, boys, it's so much better up here than being in that bubble. Like, there's so much more to life than being in that Vic bubbles. He would be the best sort of bloke to speak about. Let's roll on. Friday night, the game of the round, lived up to expectations. The Suns get it done over the Pies. I loved this game, Das. Talk to me.
Yeah, awesome. You just knew, and we were chatting about it over the week, like if there's a game that the Pies are going to drop, it's this one. Like, drop this one. I don't think you want to be coming into finals absolutely like unscathed. They lost 2 games before this, and they're traveling, the Suns that they're really pushing for their first finals berth. This is I think there was one of their first actual primetime games, maybe their first ever Friday night game.
First ever Friday night game. Yeah.
Perfect. So it's like, you knew that they were going to show out. Rowell and Anderson have been playing some pretty good footy. They sort of dogged it for the first 3 quarters against the Bombers, and they would really want to come out and have a really strong performance. And that's exactly what they did. They were fucking running them up and down the entire ground. And it looked like Took was about to, like between Took, Rowell and Anderson, they were going to split the game open. So I'm not sure how bad Took's hamstring actually is, but they held them at bay perfectly. Ethan Reid was making plays. That play by Ben Long, how he went back, got absolutely crunched, and then that's the one where Ethan Reid got on the back of it, kicked the goal. It's like they're up and about. So they look like that they were really going to push away with that win. And then as soon as the Pies kicked a goal, I was like, fuck, do not be surprised if the Pies come back and win this game. And they just clawed it back, which is exactly what they want to do. So I think if you're a Collingwood supporter, this is a perfect scenario because you got the loss, which I feel you need a loss maybe this time of year. But 2, you weren't absolutely whitewashed where the media are like, oh, they got absolutely trampled. What's wrong internally? Like, you're like, oh, no, they just had a bad first half. They couldn't put it together. Well, they kick 8 points in the first half.
Yeah. They just missed. It happens on the road. You just missed.
I think it's a perfect loss. I think it's a win-win for both sides. Like,
Collingwood supporters are not shattered at all. It's like a loss isn't that bad. We're due a loss. We're still clear on top of the ladder. Now, they've got a big question. Like I speak about how Charlie Curnow chose his 3rd Coleman medal over the team's success. Nick Dacos needs a couple of weeks off, Dust. You can see how sore he is. He was limping around. He kept grabbing at his foot. How many weeks will he take off before it's like, oh, I wouldn't mind that Brownlow medal, but we've got to win the premiership? Will he play next week? Will he take 2 off? Will he wait till the end of the season? Could it get worse? How are you handling this Nick Dacos situation? In the fact you want him prime, fit, ready to win the flag, but he's probably Brownlow favourite and he's probably going to win the Brownlow. But if he sits, you're going to cost him a Brownlow. Because the Dogs have got it wrong twice. They've cost Bontempelli 2 Brownlow medals and they haven't won the flags that year. So how are you going to handle this situation? What would you do?
I would play him next week. So I believe they've got Fremantle next week. You play that at the MCG. Then you rest him against the Tigers the next week. And then you got Brisbane, Hawthorn, Adelaide, Melbourne, then probably rest him last game of the year once top spot is locked up. So if he's really sore, like he copped a few shots, didn't he? Like he's just been getting tweaked this year, like little like up in his glute heaps, like he's landed funny, his ankles.
That one where he got tunneled and his body went out from underneath him. Like he would have, in the air, his guts would have fell out his ass, that one. Darts, I was ready to rip through Collingwood on the roast, saying the system is great and all, but when you have to come from behind, do Collingwood supporters fully trust? And I know they all won't be there prelim final weekend, but as a Collingwood supporter, do you fully trust Will Hoskin-Elliott, Lockie Sullivan, Ned Long, Lockie Schultz, Markov, Perryman, Quainer, Dan Houston? Like, has he earned the trust of Pies? But it looks like I was already wrong on my take. They are that well coached and that well structured and system-based that it doesn't matter who's out there on the field. They can come from anywhere. Any players they can throw out. If you know the Collingwood system, they'll get it done. It is so impressive what they're doing there. They must have that much self-belief in their system and their structure that it just gets it done, and it's going to come.
But they've shown that they've been able to. So they have an absolute go switch. It's like 3, 2, 1, let's go. If we sort of get hit on the other side, that's fine. But we're going to go straight through the corridor. And as soon as they get one goal, it's so infectious in the crowds there. Like like they travel so well. I'm not sure if you watched any of the Bombers or Richmond last night. There was like 2 minutes to go and the Bombers needed 2 goals. And they're just kicking it sideways. Like there's no sense of urgency. It just feels like they're so drilled on every single moment in the last quarter. If they have to go, everyone's on the exact same page. It's not people pointing like go that way. They just know exactly what to do. And on the back of like Josh Dacos had an all-timer last quarter. Like
last quarter, 16-2 is a big last quarter.
16-2, and I put it up on our page. Is that not one of the best last quarters of all time? You got James Hird against West Coast where he had 15-1 and kicked that goal. It was 131 to 131. Nick Davis's last quarter where he kicked 4 against Geelong, and Darren Jarman where he kicked 5 goals in the last quarter in the grand final. Like that's what we were seeing. We're just like, Josh is everything. Like he was just doing everything he could to win this game. Now, Jev, I'd have thought, so we just think about how much premierships mean to teams and like end of legacies. I know we talk about it more in American sports, but we're starting to have a little bit of a chat. So if Collingwood win the grand final this year with this team, will still Sidebottom go down as a better player than Nat Fyfe?
I love this take. We flew to this take. So can we go to a bit of a backstory quickly? Our man in America, Colin Cowitz, reckons Matt Stafford had a better career than Aaron Rodgers. He was better early, he was better drafted, and his longevity of his career, he's just been a better player. But Rodgers' prime puts him as like a top 4 player of all time. And then you're like, who can we think about this Australian-wise? Still Sidebottom, Nat Fyfe. Better early, better in the draft, premiership early, a premiership late. If he wins one more and Fyfe only walks off with 2 Brownlows and probably 4 years of prime, and now he's absolutely nowhere. It is such a good argument and a good take of what you would prefer. I bet you Collingwood would rather steal Sidebottom's career than Nat Fyfe's career all over again.
Yeah, well, if we look at it, if we look at as soon as they got drafted, so Steele was pick 11 in 2008 and Fyfe was pick 20 the following year. So you could say Steele Bottom, we know he kicked 10 in the grand final to get drafted. Yep. We know Fyfe's won 3 Brownlows, 2 Brownlows, 3 best and fairest. Steele Sidebottom came second in a Brownlow in 2018 to Tom Mitchell. He's been an All-Australian once. And then if we go on to winning 3 flags, Jev, and what he does in those big moments, I don't see where you would say all time that Steele Sidebottom isn't a better footballer than Fyfe. And I know longevity comes into it. If you're drafting both of them, who would you want on your list for that amount of time? So Fyfe.
Well, what just popped into my head just then? You know, grand final day, they've always got the sky cam, and Steele Sidebottom kicked that huge goal grand final day, and the camera was right behind him, and it went through, and you're like, that is a sick goal against Brisbane a couple of years ago. Nat Fyfe had that chance to kick that goal from about 45 out against the Hawks, and he missed it. It's like just then, that popped in my head. Same spot, same sky cam. Sidebottom went back and slotted it. Fyfe went back and missed it. Geez, this is going to stir some.
No, but I'm serious. So it's like, say Steele was drafted the year before him, the end of the career now, let's say they finish the end of this year. Are you taking 2 Brownlows, 244 games and 178 goals, or are you taking 3 premierships, 346 games and 201 goals.
That 100% still Sideways career. You play for premierships. And Oregon Fyfe played for Brownlows for a bit. Anyway, we're going to get in that much trouble. I've got a couple more things on this game. Noah Anderson's going to win the Brownlow in a round that doesn't exist. I saw you saw my walk and talk yesterday.
Yep.
I was just on a walk by myself, like my mind's ticking. Round 25's coming up. The first ever round 25's coming up. They're going to play the Bombers. Are they going to read the Brownlow votes for that game in the round 0 Brownlow votes? Or is it going to be?
I think so.
If they read it after the season and every game's done, there's there's one more game to go. Gold Coast Essendon, round 25, 3 votes, and Anderson. And he pinches the Brownlow off Nick Dacos. I'm going to love it. He is we put up that photo of Carey College, the midfield they had at school, Rao, Anderson, Dacos. That is the definition of the perfect AFL midfielder. You've got the bull contested beast gun tackler in Matt Rao that can do the dirty work. You've got the superstar classy accumulator, does everything, runs all day in Noah Anderson. And then you've just got the outright superstar in Nick Dacos. Imagine that midfield at AFL. That is Kirk Cousins-Judd when they were Kirk Cousins-Judd. I would adore to see them play together. Does Nick want to go to Gold Coast?
Oh, Jeff, can you imagine, honestly, I commented, can you imagine lining up on that after a maths exam? Like, you've just been in there, you've just done 4 periods of school, you got to go play school footy and just get absolutely towed up.
You've just solved 8 times 8. Now, you're playing on Nick Dacos or Matt Rao in the midfield.
It'd be fucked. Do you have any odds in this one?
I do, mate. Jamie Elliott for 3 was $2.60. Ben King was $1.40 for 2. Josh Dacos for 2 was $20. Matt Rao for 2 was $19. Dan Rioli for 1 was $3.40. Noah Anderson for 1 was $2.70. Josh Dacos for 30 was $2.10. Matt Rao for 30 was $5. Anderson was $1.50 for 30. And John Global Noble was $3.50 for 30. I put in our Discord before the game because it basically would have hit the last couple of weeks. Nick Dacos for 30 and 2, Noah Anderson for 30 and 2. It paid 170 to 1. Imagine you had Rao for 30 and 2, Josh Dacos for 30 and 2. Looking at it here, it would have paid about 2,000 to 1. So that would have been nice to be on.
And we also had, so you picked the top 4 midfielders for a goal each. So we had Rao, Anderson, Josh, and Nick, all for a goal. That paid $71. And Nick missed one, and he was the only one that let us down.
He missed a sitter that he took advantage. He buries them usually. Yep. That was, you had 10 to turn into 710. So stiff. Let's roll through Saturday a bit quicker. We've taken ages on these games. Adelaide Dogs. This game was awesome. I had the Dogs in the prelim final as long as they don't run into Adelaide in the finals. I trust a fart and barley more than I trust the Dogs defense. They are gettable. They had no answers for the Adelaide Crows forwards. Whoever James O'Donnell went to, if it was Thilthorpe, Fogarty, Tex, they just said, right, little fella, come with me, come to the goal square. He just took him down. He just went to the goal square. Thilthorpe was marking on his head. Tex was marking on him. Fogg was marking on him. They just targeted James O'Donnell. I have so many questions over the Dogs defense. I love their superstars. Everyone loves their superstars. We love Richards. We love Bond. They were all awesome yesterday. Sam Darcy dropped a couple. They're all awesome, but you got to be able to defend. Unfortunately, they cannot defend well enough. The Crows are just buying. I'm buying more and more Crow stock by the day. They are them, aren't they? So
I love them as a smoky for $7 for the flag because there's always a team that goes on a run, and there's something about belief when you start to win. Like, this is another really good win for them on the road. If you didn't watch the game, don't look at the end result as 11 points. This is a 28-point win. Like,
the Dogs kicked 3 goals in the last 3 minutes to make it 11 points. Yeah. It was a massive win.
So don't look at that. Like the Crows had finished this game. It was unbelievable. Jordan Dawson just, again, wherever the team needs him, he'll pop up and kick 2. Phil thought this was the game that everything was clunking. Everything was coming in. It's just so frustrating. We either bet on him, Jev. We'll go and post a photo. Riley Thiel thought when I bet on him, it's him when he just got drafted, and him when I don't bet on him when he's got the beard. But he just looks so confident coming in. And I think, what do you think about the 3 forwards? I think it works. I think their team, even if they lose a few games, I think you don't have to change anything. I like the big 3 forwards. Like, I like Tex in the side. I think if he goes up the ground, if you get a goal or 2 out of him and you get 3 inside 50s from him, that's a win. because he's a beautiful kick. Like, I don't think he has to kick you the 5. And then you've got the other smaller guys that can run through and put on pressure. So I do like the big 3 forwards, and I think they can all pop up in a big game. But yeah, I think their game's in awesome order. Their defense is awesome. They 100% nailed the Dan Curtin pick. He's a fucking menace. He's just...
He should really be favourite for the Rising Star now. He can win it this year. He's a gun.
Can he?
Yeah. He can, you can still bet on him to win it.
Yeah, right.
They nailed the Max Michaelini pick. If I'm starting Tassie, I'm getting a back pocket in first. I'm calling Max Michaelini. I love him, does. He just locks up anyone he wants. He gave Riley West the business yesterday. Morgs, he's been getting his haircuts based on Riley West. He's going to take a photo of Max Michaelini now, I reckon, to the hairdresser. Give me this salad. Darcy, if I'm an Adelaide Crows fan, I watched it firsthand yesterday. What? I reckon Adelaide Crows, I saw it on Twitter, they would rather Riley Thilthorpe than Sam Darcy. I watched it yesterday. Sam Darcy kept double grabbing everything and dropping everything. Thilthorpe was one grab and nearly popping the ball in his hands. He was clunking everything. Crows fans would go, if the Dogs called them and said, we'll give you Sam Darcy for Thilthorpe, they'd probably go, nah, we're good. We'll keep Thilthorpe.
Your thoughts on Darcy keep playing in the ruck? Like, surely you've got another second fiddle. I know Norton was kicking goals and he's had a good month, Norton. Very good month. Yeah. But it's let the big fella be the big fella.
Oh, I think it just looks like Sam Darcy loves it. Like, he knows his second ruck. He's like, yeah, fucking oath. I'll play second ruck. He's just a dog. What else do I want to say? Our man, who's more frustrating to bet on? Matt Rowell or Riley Thilthorpe? We were talking about this before we got on. So last week we had Rowell and Thilthorpe everything. Rowell had 15 touches. Thilthorpe didn't get a kick. This week they have 30 and 2 and kick 6. And I'm like, they'll do it twice in a row. I didn't have anything on either of them. Geez, they're frustrating. Anything else on this game? I got nothing.
Yeah, no, I just want to say, I've got a take on the AFL now, Jev. I think on the game in general, it's now time to get rid of 3 Brownlow votes. 3, 2, 1. It isn't enough. It is not enough. Like, when you look at guys like Pritis, when Wines won it, if you're just there enough, like, you can just keep stacking votes. Like, I know Cripps did it last year. I'm not taking it. Like, there has to be something where we can rate the players higher. Like, you look at Bont yesterday. 37 touches. So if you look at the year where he came second to Ollie Wines, and I think, Ollie Wines had 36 votes and
he was
Bont
the
had
best
34.
player in the comp by a fucking mile that year.
If you could give out 10 votes a game, then we would actually be able to see the peak on how high best these players are. So it's like, you can't tell me that, like, that Dusty's peak or his Brownlow is the same as Pritis, even though if they're only a few votes across.
Yes.
Like, that 3 votes isn't enough. Like, we can't just only, like, there's some games where Bond will have 35 and 3, and then but then the next week he has 20, 25 and 1, but he still gets a 3. Like, they're not the same equivalent to the 3. Yep. So Bond has been the number 1 ranked player this year. He was the highest player last year, the highest player in 2023, second in 2022, second in 2021, and in 2020 he was top 5 with Gawn, Fyfe, Dusty, and Neale. So I don't know how we have it but we just need multiple different sources of votes. The game is outdated in just 3-2-1 because 3-2-1 just isn't enough to rate the peak of the games.
Because yesterday Thilthorpe was awesome, Jordan Dawson was awesome, Bont, Richards. There was like 10 players that just played amazing yesterday, and now that's all going to get into a 3-2-1 vote system.
So, and I'm definitely not saying that it's off the ranking points, but if you could go yesterday, say I'm just looking at the fantasy points. As I said, this is just an example, but 166. So rather than just say if he was 3-2-1, you take the 166 and then you add that on, because you might have a game where you have like a 200 something game, and we know that continually adds up. I just think there has to be more recognition on actual performances in the game. You can't just cap it at 3. Like, you can't. So I feel to get the award at its best and we actually recognize the greatest players of this era, there has to be a high margin for voting. There has to be.
I love it, Das. I absolutely love it. You got some odds for this game?
Yeah, I do. Thilthorpe for 6. Again, PointsBet will get onto you. We want higher markets. We can only get him for 5. We can only get him for 5 was $21. Norton for 5 was 18. Fogarty for 3 was $3. Sam Darcy for 2 was $1.27. So short. Dawson for 2 at $5.25. Ed Richards for 2 at $4.20. Tex for 2 at $2.25. Dan Curtin for 1 goal was at $2.40. Bond for 37, also for 35 was $15. Ed Richards. Who do we have? Oh, yeah. So we had Ed Richards, Dawson, and Libba all around $1.50s for 25. But Dan Curtin for 25, Jev, was $14.
Oh, he's a gun.
He's a gun.
I was going to say, Ben Keys betters. Was there anything more frustrating than watching Ben Keys yesterday?
Yeah.
There was about 17 times Riley Thilthorpe marked it and he was running past it into an open goal and he didn't give it because he kept clunking him and going back and slotting him. He couldn't get on the end of him. When he had his chance, he missed. His 0 goals 3 were really 0 goals 9. He had that many chances. Just couldn't bury one. It was so frustrating to be a Ben Keys better yesterday. Let's roll on. The Giants are awesome, Das. That's twice this year they've just taken care of the Cats. They do not worry about the Cats at all. If you don't think they can win the flag, I can't help you. I tweeted this last night. They've dusted the Cats twice. They handled the Lions at the Gabba. Handled them. The Lions do not have the defense for the GWS forwards. They've got too much firepower down there. And then, I know it was a long time ago, but they've got a Dacos stopper in Toby Bedford. They dusted the Pies. It was 55 points or something, round 0. They have no worries about them. They'd like the Adelaide Crows one back, but I'm sure a big final, Crows' first final in 8 years, they will feel the pinch, and the GWS Giants will not feel the pinch as much. They've shown they can go on the road and win big finals. I'm all in again on the Giants. You know, I've refused to quit on them all year. I'm so far in. They are so good, and we watched 2 absolute superstars yesterday. You couldn't name 5 players in the comp you'd rather for 10 years more than Finn Callaghan. I think he is a top 5 most valuable player in the comp. He is just a straight up superstar, Das. And Aaron Cadman is emerging, signed a 4-year deal this morning. I am that impressed in what that kid's doing.
Let's come up with a list this week. We'll make a graphic. We're going to have a top 10, 22 and under.
Yeah.
Where would we rank him? We're going to have Cadman in there. Finn Callahan's going to be in there. Sam Darcy's going to be in there. And we can have it rolling just how we have like your tiers or like the 10 names. Because I'll tell you what, like, where are you putting Dan Curtin in there? There are some absolute superstars and the game is in such a good spot. Like when these guys come out, it's just like, fuck me. Like, Cadman, we were calling maybe after round 5, we're like, maybe he's got to go up on the wing. Like, he was a winger for ages. Like, he's just not getting there enough. And they just persisted with him. And that's all you need. You just need to crack open the egg to just get these guys actually a good run at it and get their confidence up. Because when he was rolling yesterday, that 6 goal that he went for, he looked so confident, just walked into it, absolutely flushed it, arms up. And I'm like, holy fuck. Like, he's just jumping at everything.
In 10 minutes. That's like Jeremy Cameron shit, where it's like he's playing ISO in basketball. He's Kobe Bryant when he's hot. Like, just keep kicking it to me, boys. Just keep getting it down here. I'll sort it. Like, that was superstar level stuff. Like, clear the 50 out, me one-on-one, just keep getting it down here. He was on fire. It was a pleasure to watch. That is the sort of stuff that you look back on and go, there's the signs. Like, we can see it coming. Now I can see him kicking 7 in a prelim, Das. Could you imagine he gets the 4th forward? So the best defender goes to Jesse Hogan. Toby Green gets one. Jake Stringer comes into a final in form. Callum Brown, Jake Riccardi, and then this like skinny sort of player goes to Cadman. He goes, "What are you doing on me?" And he kicks 7 in a big prelim. I was like, I can see it coming. Finn just keeps kicking it down his throat. Oh, he is as valuable as it gets. Those 2 are going to be an absolute duo forever. It's going to be like Hodge and Ruffy or something for a while. Like, they are going to be on fire.
You can tell when guys are a good kick because they get heaps of revs on the footy. Finn Callaghan is one of those players.
Finn's ball spins more than anyone's.
Mate, I got a message from Stoy last night. He's like, I know you love your revs on the footy. He's like, Massimo D'Ambrosio. I said, yes. Yes, Stenny. He's another one. You can tell a good kick when they get revs on the footy. Finn just looks, you have to go watch him live. He's quicker than anyone at a stoppage.
He is a freak. I'll never forget round 2 against Melbourne to win the game. I've never seen burst of speed.
He was quicker than any single person on that ground that day. I would have taken him over Darcy Jones that day over 20 metres. His ability to, once you get him on the outside, gone. Every single time, he's like an 80-metre player. He'll run you 25 to 30 and he'll kick it 50 every single time. And then when you've got those key posts down forward, fuck me, Jev, that was an awesome win. But it did sort of look like for Geelong that they almost did mail it in. Like once it was out of reach, they're like, we'll just fucking we'll put it in. And also Bailey Smith, he deserves criticism.
Bailey Smith,
he was nowhere near it yesterday, and you can't be.
You go.
Yeah, it's like you can't be taking weeks off. It's all fine when you're winning, which is great. And we're the first people to say, you know, if you're winning, it's fine. But as soon as you're not, and you're not doing everything. So this is what I looked at yesterday. There was a contest with Finn Callaghan and Bailey Smith, two super talented guys. And there were 3 times yesterday where it looked like here's a guy that's been locked in the gym, locked in training and actually going at the footy, and someone else for just a split second just half-assed it. And there was like 3 or 4 contests where Finn just ran straight past him. And there's a guy that's just like mind in, all in on footy. That's what it looked like to me.
If you keep going out on benders and missing games because you've gone on a bender and you got caught, it's going to catch up to you. He better train his ass up this week, Bailey Smith. There's not many people in the world that would say this. I reckon Connor Iden loves playing on Jez Cameron because he's the same size as him, except he's bigger and he's stronger. And he just looks at Jez and goes, come on, big fella, I've got you. He generally gets the job done every time. Every single time he gets and he would have played on him at training when he was a young buck, so he knows a couple of his tricks. He looks like the only person on earth that is built to play on Jeremy Cameron. And he looks at him and goes, I'm just bigger, stronger, faster. We're the same build.
You know who would have been an awesome forward? Jack Buckley. Did you see him come out of the back line beating the forwards to the ball like 4 times yesterday?
They've still got to add Sam Taylor back to that side dance. Then they're getting Jesse Hogan fit. He's still not fit enough. I'm telling you, they are ready. As long as, and the reason is because of the form Finn's in. So they probably thought he was probably another year away from being at this peak. But it's like their back line sorted, their forward line sorted. Now you've got a Brownlow level good player in Finn Callaghan. You're like, nah, we can win it this year, 100%. They are so good. You got some odds, Dust. Yeah, you could have made so much money yesterday with Gilthorpe 5, Norton 5. In this game, Cadman kicked 6. What's his name? Shannon Neale kicked 5.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just the most unassuming 5 goals of all time for Shannon. But Cadman for 6, you could only get him for 5 at $51. Again, we'll have a chat to PointsBet for everyone. Shannon Neale for 5 was 29. Stringer for 4 was 21. Toby Green was only $1.60 for 2, so I wasn't meant to read that out. Whitfield for 30 was $2.15. And then you got Finn, Stewart, Ash, and Bailey Smith all around the $1.50 mark for the 25 disposals. But some big goal kickers. There's some big bags, and it's been good to watch. It's been really good to watch. When someone gets on a roll, almost this is like last year we had the smalls, this year we have the talls, and we'll quickly discuss on today. But take a couple of them for 5 because they're hitting. They're hitting this year.
All right. I reckon we can touch on this game in 3 minutes or under. Was this the worst game of footy ever played? Richmond Essendon, it was 83 total points. The Bombers failed to score over 40 points. They've lost to the Tigers, who are trying not to win games. What the fucking was that, Tars? I was at a 30th, so I didn't see heaps of this game. So I need you to tell me. I'm glad I missed it. I'm glad I was at the 30th. Tell me about this game.
As I said, this is one of the games of all time. I said it. I tweeted in a nice way, Jev, but there's some things you don't talk about. You catching your old man wanking, your old man catching you wanking, and then this game, round 18, Richmond Essendon. You just don't talk about it again. It does not need to be spoken about. Taj Houghton, apparently the best player in the draft, came in, obviously off an ACL, kicked a goal early. It was awesome. It was actually a pretty good game early. And then I went across and I was watching Hawks and Freo, and I was just watching the box score in the corner, and the score just wasn't changing. And then it just went like half time, and I'm like, what's happened here? Third quarter, same thing. Like nothing was changing. So I didn't think the game was back on. I watched the last 10 minutes hoping that, you know what, something's going to happen. There's going to be a big moment. It was an absolute dog's breakfast of a game. It was horrible. And for Tigers fans, good on them. For Essendon fans, I can't describe what the standard looked like. Like, it was like Vafa D reserves. I don't know. It's just it didn't look like that these were AFL players. I'm not even kidding. Wow. Just like no sense of urgency, dropping marks, dropping kicks. Like I do like Caddy, but there was one in the goal square. Like he just fresh aired one off the ground, missed. It was just a comedy of errors. There wasn't a goal for 53 minutes in this game, and then I think when Essendon kicked it, the whole stadium started cheering. Like the whole stadium. Like it was, I think this might be the first ever game that the AFL gives a refund to players and to spectators. It was a dog's breakfast, but I'll get into some odds. Jev, Tim Taranto would have, if you back him every single week, he'll look after you.
Yes, he's the exact sort of horse you'd want to own to us.
Yes.
He's a Master O'Reilly of horses, as reliable as it gets.
Yes, just put him on the place. He had 34, but for 30 was 350. Here's another player that will make you some money, Jev. Archie Roberts. He gets touches every week. So for 30 was 450. Merritt for 30 was short. Prestia for 25 was 220. And Hopper and Jaden short for 25. It was the worst betting game of all time.
Oh, before you move on quickly, I want to say, the Bombers kicked 3 goals straight in the first quarter. Then they kicked 1 goal 13 after quarter time. They finished with 4-13, 1 goal 13. That is embarrassing. And all right, I'm going to feel bad. So I was with a Bombers supporter last night. He said, look, I actually think Essendon are going to do something next year. I'm like, you say that every year. What happens if next year you're like, this is the year Essendon do it, and then someone like Nick Martin does his knee or Nate Caddy does his hammy, and all of a sudden that year's not the year, and then it goes on again. Like, it just passes. And then last night Nick Martin did his ACL dust. I feel like I cursed it.
Oh, was it ACL? Was it confirmed? So do you see what happened? So it
was over the sideline.
Yeah. So Mansell. Look, obviously you don't want players to get injured like that, but Mansell's like, fuck it. Every time this cunt plays this, he has 35 and 3.
Yeah.
So the first shot that he got, he pushed him over the boundary line, which is fair. Like, he shouldn't get suspended for it.
Yeah.
And he just landed funny. Like, I'm not saying go and smack a guy, but I love the intent of these young Tigers.
It feels sick, though, that he's missing 12 months for slipping on some fake turf on the side of the MCG.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so bad. Like that. Imagine that was Pat Cripps. Or
I'd be shuttered.
Imagine that was
Cripps would have held his score better.
Did it that way.
Let's get into the next game. So this I feel, this game, I remember when it came up and I looked at it, I said, this is a Jevy win-win game. I absolutely love this. It's like, it's either Freo going to lose and we can get into Caleb Sarong. It's either the Hawks lose, we can get into the Hawks. So I feel this is, you had sat back, watched this game last night. Hopefully both teams beat each other up because you hate both of them. But where do you want to sink your teeth into in this one?
Oh, well, how are Hawthorn going to win when they're missing the top 10 player in the competition, Josh Weddle? Don't worry, I've got the receipts. They reckon Josh Weddle's going to be a top 10 player in the comp. Cam McKenzie's Brownlow medal good. Josh Ward's a gun. What else? Nick Watson's a top 5 draft pick. Trust me, I know them all. Premiership favourites in the preseason. Premiership favourites. They are smack bang in the middle of the rat race now. There's as much of a chance as they miss as then they make finals. I've got all the receipts. Will Hawthorn supporters, they'll go find the old post where I called them the Timu Swans, and they'll come and apologise to me, won't they, Das, if they miss the 8. They'll go find it. They'll scroll down on our Insta. They'll go to the post and they'll comment, so sorry, Jevy, you were right. We aren't that good. Because they're fucking not. They are bang on average. They are in the middle of the rat race. They've got no A-graders. Their A-grader is sitting on the sideline with a sore foot. It's like Jesus Christ is coming back from the twos. They talk about Will Day like he's Jesus fucking Christ. We're going to get in trouble for this. Morgs might actually cut that. I'm so sorry. It's good. He's good and he makes everyone better and everyone plays a bit better when he's in. But, geez, they better hope he comes back and he's back in Brownlow medal form like that. It's like they're getting Bont and Dacos back when they get Will Day back. I've never seen it with the Hawks, and I'm very interested to see what Hawthorn supporters say, because I remember when they were telling me how good Cam McKenzie was. I remember when the Sunday Footy Show were going, Josh Weddle could be a top 10 player in the competition. He's Brownlow medal good. I reckon there's more chance he never makes an All-Australian than he is a top 10 player in the comp. He's all right. He's dumb as dog shit. Where else can I go? Like, am I being harsh? Am I being wrong here? They had to go and win this game, and they didn't. They choked. They fucking choked. They went in the last quarter with a lead, and they folded like a pack of cards. They folded like a deck chair. Let's go through their fixture, Dust, because there is as good a chance they can miss the 8 in anyone. They're on 44 points. The Dogs are on 40. Everyone else in the 8's on 44. They've got Port Adelaide and Tassie. They're bogey side. They haven't beaten Port in years. Port just beat them. They got Carlton at the G. They'll probably win that. Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. Last place they want to go. Collingwood at the G. No thanks. I've already dusted them once this year. Melbourne at the G should win. Brisbane at Gabba. I'm telling you, the Lions at the Gabba will be to get in the 8 or to miss it, because Gold Coast will play the next week and kick them out of the 8 if they aren't already locked in. So I would be terrified if I'm a Hawks supporter. Imagine how unbearable I'm going to be if they miss the 8.
It's going to be awesome.
It's
this is why I love to listen to it.
All time. They won the March Premiership. I'm happy. Will Day won the March, Norm Smith, Jai Newcomb was the March player of the round. They won the March Premiership. They held up the cup in March. I'm happy for them. Can they hold it up in September? Will they even be playing in finals? It's going to be interesting. And then Hawthorn, Freo, sorry. I haven't actually looked how Caleb Sarong played. How'd he go? I saw him a little bit. I saw he got tagged. What's he had? 29. Well, no, he's back.
No,
he did what he does at home.
Yeah, but it wasn't a 29. It was like there was fuck all influence. I thought Brayshaw was so much better. I thought Sarong, like the 29, you actually wouldn't have known about it. Like I'm pretty sure he had a fair bit in the last quarter. So I try not to just, when I watch, have this stat. Nah, I don't think he had much of an influence on the game. Swiatkowski, Jev, they keep talking about his IQ. They mention it 10 times. He's the smartest footballer. He can turn boiled lollies into chocolate, this bloke. They just think he's I don't know what they reckon, but they reckon he just reads the game better than anyone. Watching the game last night, if you need a good bill of health to win the premiership, I agree with that. Weddle's gone, Will Day's gone. When those guys were back in the side, say towards the back end of last year, their football looked completely different. At the start of the year, it looked completely different. Without them and how they're playing at the moment, I don't think that they can really push it deep. And the more I watch Freo, the more I think that they can't push deep either. This isn't a side last night that I'm watching. They held on and had to put everything into it to try and win this game. It was very if you're a Hawthorn supporter, you'd be so annoyed at that last quarter. They had everything going perfect. All right, we're here at 3/4 time. We're on the road. This is one where we try and get a few goals going, and they couldn't get absolutely anything. They couldn't get any run. They couldn't generate anything, and Freo held it down really well. So same thing for them. When they won, they were all celebrating fuck yeah, we're still in it. We're in the 8. Yep. But I honestly watching, I feel they're so far off it. And one thing that Jack Ginnivan brings, though, to the Hawks, I don't know what it is. It just seems like as soon as there's a big game or a big pressure moment,
he's fearless. He's fearless, isn't he?
He looked like, I can't describe it. He looked like the big brother out there. That he was just saying everything. He's come on, let's go. This is what we want. He just looked like he turns into a different player when there's a big crowd. I don't know. He just gets to more stoppages. He does some really smart things. His goal was so crafty. He had a second, less than a second. He got the ball, wasn't even facing the goal, turned the ball perfectly, and then kicked it over his shoulder. He's such a fucking good footballer.
Yeah,
but
he all he knew in his first 10 games was playing in front of 90,000, winning Anzac Day medals and stuff. He just was bought into playing in massive games in front of 90,000 plus. So he just doesn't feel the pinch of enormous games. He just goes into flow state. He's fearless when it comes to big games. Yeah, I love him. I love the way he goes about the footy. So
I'll get into some odds. Was very good to see Cole Shadir back. I think that he's 100% when he's in the side, he's got to go. And he's got a bit about him as well. He's roughing into players, getting into Luke Ryan. I love him. Absolutely love him.
What's the forward line going forward? Is Gunston a lock, or is Mitch Lewis taking Gunston's spot?
I think that they're gonna give Mitch Lewis a look. They have to towards the end of the year. He's just come off the ACL. He's ready to go. He's played some games in the VFL.
So they're definitely VFL yesterday.
So they're going to play him over the next 7 weeks, and they're going to then see what the best matchup is. Ramsden won't get in if they're all there. And it's just going to be who's healthier, I suppose. If Gunston's still ready to go and he's still playing, kicking goals, I think you're going to play him.
You'd say, so they'll give Gunston a rest. They'll give Gunston a rest this week, and they'll bring in Mitch Lewis. I'm intrigued. Charles probably the only one that's a lock, and then they're going to have to pick, are they going to play 3 of Deer, Gunston, Lewis? Is 1 going to miss out? Is 2 going to miss out? Ramsden's been playing well, so I'm super intrigued how they're going to do it. Sam Mitchell's a genius. He'll get it right. They'll win the flag. It's all good.
Yeah. Some odds. Cole Shadir for 3. Yeah, it was $8. Switowski, the smartest man in football, for $3 was 15. Shy Bolton for 2 was 250. Jai Miss for 2 was 310. Michael Frederick for 2 was $3. Jordan Clark for 30 was 410. Carl Amon for 30 was $7. Brayshaw, Jev, I'm sure you missed it. He copped the biggest knee to the head by Luke Jackson with like 40 seconds to go.
And he got off, he was walking off the field. Like,
yeah. And then it's really like Kath just went straight up an interview. His head's just pissing blood and he's just trying to wipe it. It was so fucking funny. I love Andy Brayshaw. Sarong was $1.40 for 25, but Guinea for 25 touches was $7.50. Obviously, he doesn't get it all the time, but maybe we find some moments where it is a big game. Against the Pies, he gets 25 every time if it's a big game on the road. I can't remember who you said the Hawks have next week, but they have Port Adelaide. Nah, Dan Tassie won't get 25. Carlton, no. Maybe against Adelaide, we get him in for 25 at Adelaide Oval. But do you have anything else to mention on this?
No, we're going. But showies today, I'm about to get in the train and go to Marvel Stadium and watch the showies stars. We're playing the Saints. I love when the showies come to town. I don't care where we are on the ladder. I'm pumped to see Heaney. I'm pumped to see Chad. So I'm going to the game today. Let's go. That is part 1 of the roast. 50 minutes. See you later. We are back, part 2 of the Sunday roast. It is Sunday night. The games have been one and done. I've seen the showies win in person. I think that's twice now for the year, but let's go. Let's go back to the first game. I didn't see a minute of this game, Dallas. I was going into the Swans game. I don't know what happened in this game. All I know is Jerry knocked Sparrow the hell out. He's probably going to get 4 weeks. Deserves all of them. Talk to me, Dallas. Talk to me about this game.
Yeah, it started off and North actually looked like that they were really trying to relish one of their, I guess, few times the year at the MCG. They started hot. Paul Curtis kicked a couple early and we thought, well, is this exactly how it's going to go, how it did last time? So the line was still 26.5 and you thought that was actually a lot of points to be given towards North Melbourne. But at the end of the day, the cream rises to the top and it looks like this is what's so frustrating with Melbourne because they've got the players and we see it once every couple of weeks. Cozzy Pickett kicked the first. They started to get rolling. Petrarca was doing whatever he wanted to. Same thing with no LDU in the side. Like no one's going to run with him. And Oliver was getting on top. And we knew that Tristan Jerry got on top of Max Gawn this game. And you could say that this is the All-Australian match. Max Gawn is the All-Australian ruckman. Give it to him. He beat him head-to-head, one-on-one, all day. That's it. That's all she wrote. I don't care for the rest of the season. I feel it's just like a tournament. Like you can just keep building your way up. Like Dustin Poirier, it's fine. You beat all the other people. And then when you get to the title fight, you've got to win the title. And you had to beat Max today. Even if you had a really good performance and you guys lost, we could still give it to you. But Max beat him. Max beat him head to head, got to more contests. They were roughing into him. And it almost looked like that the Demons were on board with that as well. Clayton Oliver was coming over the top with a few big tackles and then really trying to get into Tristan Xerri, especially after he hit Sparrow. So it wasn't the best game. As I said, Melbourne, they were far too good in the end. But there's just so many suspects on that side when they look bad. It's just like Will Phillips, 20 touches, but he's not going to kill you. Jai Simpkin, when he's not kicking goals, he just gets another 20 touches. Like, he's not really impactful. Like, you got Lowe, Costanti, like these guys, I don't know. I just don't see when they're going to be a top 4 side.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to need another key post in the back line. They're going to need a really big run of health as well. Like, Finn O'Sullivan, I'm sure, is going to come and be a really good player, but all the other teams are just consistently getting better, and they're just like, is it going to be 5 years until they're a top 4 side? I actually don't know. I don't know.
Will they all still be there? Like, will McKercher stay? What's going on with Harry Sheezer? Like, sorry, he had some good numbers today. How was Harry Sheezer today? Nick Dalsano.
Yeah, no, it was like same thing. Like he stood up, took the mantle a lot more, tried to get the ball moving. But when you don't have the guys coming along with you, it's tough. Now, Cooper Harvey, so the baby boomer, he looked like he belonged today. So he kicked 1 in the first and then he kicked 3 in the last and actually really showed something. And if him and Paul Curtis, like obviously you think, I can't remember what he signed for. I think he's got another 3 or 4 years. Like he did sign a bigger deal. Try and get some more games into him because he actually looks like he's got a little bit of nous in front of goals and actually wants to try and be out there and compete. So I would love to see him in the side a little bit more. Same as Hanson Jr. He's been in and out of the side. But yeah, it just looks like they're either really young or really old.
Yeah.
North. So, I mean, and look, it just goes to show how shit Carlton are. Like, they absolutely pantsed us. So, yeah, fuck. Who knows? I can't be too much to commentate on this. But, yeah, I thought the D's looked really good. And it's so funny. When they're doing well, they look like such a good team and everyone gets around each other.
Yeah.
But when they're playing bad, it's finger pointing, toys
They
out the
hate
cot.
each other. They fucking hate each other.
Now, just wanted to mention Jake Melksham is on a run, Jev.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
14-8 his last 3 weeks.
He's so good.
He's unfucking believable. Like, he's unbelievable. So, he scored 94 points in the last 3 weeks.
Himself.
So if he kicked one more goal, we had a post ready to go that Jake Melksham has kicked a bigger score than the Bombers in the last 3 weeks. I know the Bombers had a bye, but still the Bombers and then 2 weeks, Jake Melksham had kicked more. He's on fire, Jev. On fire.
He's kicked more goals than Nick Watson, Tim Membry, Will Hayward. Like, he's kicked 25 goals.
It's a good season. And he hasn't played every game.
Tex Walker.
Yeah.
Charlie Curnow's kicked 27. Jake Melksham's kicked 25.
Mate, Jake Melksham's had a year. Was there any good odds in this game? Because watching, you were just like, yeah, there's like lots of ones and twos. Zohar, I know, kicked 3, so that might have been like a bit
Before you get into
Melksham.
that, and I get into the odds, I floated the idea this week of how North should go after Jake Lever. Like, he's perfect, a general defender, all that sort of stuff. Loves defense. Is a good like captain back there. Will help them learn how to play defense, sort of thing. And Forgotten Stars, one of the best followers on Insta, messaged me and he's like, Jake Lever is the most overrated player in the comp. He gets that many goals kicked on him a week. And then he messaged us today. He reckons Cooper Harvey kicked all 4 goals playing on Jake Lever today. He just found it easy. So I was going to float the idea, Jake Lever for Zane Dersma. Who says no? Because I don't know what the hell Zane Dersma is or what he's going to become. I know North fans were like, oh, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, do you want to actually ever play finals? If you ever want to play finals, get some established players in, like Jake Lever. He's 29 years old. Get a guy in his prime that actually plays defense, or else you're never going to play finals. Anyway, odds. Jake Melksham. Wait, did I say Jake Lever? Yeah. Jake Melksham for 5 was $14. Cooper Harvey for 4. You couldn't get him for 4, but he was $15 for 3. Zohar for 3 was $4.20. Didn't he just have 10 minutes of dominance to us after half time?
Yeah. Yeah, and just got it done.
Just went nuts. Bailey Fritsch for 3 was $2.85. Jack Darling for 3 was $4.75. Chandler for 2 was $3.70. Curtis for 2 was $2. Gorn for 1 was $3.30. One of the best bets in football when Maxi kicks one.
Yeah.
Track for 30, your man was $3.60. Parker for 25 was $2.50. Tom Powell for 25 was $1.95. And Christian Salem for 25 was $3.20. Let's get on to the next game, Das. The Showies, the Swans came to town. It wasn't a bad game of footy, Das.
Good game of footy.
Swans jumped out of the box. They looked really good. It felt like, oh, this could turn into 10 goals. This could turn into a big game. Then Ross, typical Ross, he muddied up the game. He took the ball off the Swans, and they just clawed their way back in it, and he did it so well. It was frustrating to be there as a Swan supporter. I'm like, can we get the fucking ball? And then when we had the ball, they gave us nothing, so we had to keep kicking back down the line and kicking it back to Taru and Wilkie and stuff. We just had nothing going. And it just took all 4 quarters to finally sort of re-hit the front, and it took a bit of class, took a bit of Chad, a bit of Isaac, the finish from Errol, a big sort of second half from Hayward, took our class to rise to the top and get it done. But I was happy for the Saints. It was a good game to be at. I was pretty confident we were going to win the whole time. I don't know why. I was sitting in the Saints members. I was clapping like a mouse when we won. I got tickets from a Saints member, our man Jim Gentle. I was at the 30th with him last night. He goes, I've got the best seats of all time in the Saints. Level 2, Marvel Stadium. It's in row H, so that's like 8 rows back. They were the best seats of all time. He's like, please don't be a fuckwit in there and lose my tickets forever. So I just went in, clapped like a mouse all day, was excited. But, oh, geez, it's a bit of a hard one. Like, now everyone's like, the Swans had to win 8 in a row to make the finals. And then there was 7 in a row and we won again today. Now it's 6 in a row with North coming to the SCG next week. We'll probably win. Like, I'm going to start believing soon, Das. It's the hope that kills you. I'm going to start hoping soon. But it is good. It is so good to see Errol out there again. It is so good to see him. Like, when you sat where we said today, how hard he works, even when he's not getting a kick, like when you got a spread to open up the ground, he's sprinting efforts just out to the boundary and stuff. It is impressive. And then I watched, I think I nearly watched the most watchable player in the comp today, and that is Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira. Oh my God. So I can tell the Saints are trying to keep him because they let him do whatever the fuck he wanted. He started at full forward, James Jordan went to him. He went to half back, James Jordan went to him. He was on the ball, James Jordan. He was running around like doing whatever he wanted. He is a pleasure to watch though. The way he glides around Marvel Stadium, up his pay, whatever it costs.
Yeah,
just
legit.
pay him. He is so good, Das. And it was the first time he's had under 25 touches. I think James Jordan might have got the chocolates. He did have a big second or third quarter. I think James Jordan might have got the chocolates. We got the win. Kept him to 24 touches. He probably beat him in the end. So kicked a goal himself, James Jordan. I think he had 17 touches himself. So it was a good battle, but he is unbelievable.
I think you summed it up well. The cream rises to the top. And when you don't have your best players, you're unable to maximize. And like in those big moments, as you said, Chad had a few last quarter moments where he started to move the ball. Heaney kicked the goal, and then obviously you got Errol with the go-ahead goal. And unfortunately, if there's someone else in that position, they're probably shanking that kick under pressure, or they're unable to make that finish. So that's why you need a good bill of health towards the back end of the year and have these players have these moments and get to the right spots. Just wanted to talk about if we are going to have a little bit of a roast. Not sure if you were that locked in. I'm sure you would have been. There's about 90 seconds to go. Mason Wood had about 4 clangers in a row. He had it on the far side, got the free, and he just kicked it quick inboard. And there was who did he go to kick it to? He went to kick it to McRae, put it on his head, and it got intercepted. Then there's about 1:10 to go. I think it was Wicks, and then McInerney kicks it up the line, and then he gives away a chopping free kick on Chad where he just had to make a contest that would have gone out of bounds. And he just had 3 shockers in a row. Yet another one he went to give the handoff, and you could just tell who was the Saints player at the end that went to put it inside forward 50, and he had Steele out, and I think he had Sinclair out, and they were both like, kick it to the face. He just couldn't get around the Swans defender. He tried it. He was back on the wing. He tried to loop back inside, and he got tackled as he kicked, and it just went straight back in to a Swans defender. And you could just see how shattered they were. And like credit to them, they got it. Wilkie marked the ball with 11 seconds to go in their D50, and they still got it inside forward 50 with a potential shot on goal, but just weren't able to clunk one. It was a good game. Now, I'm not sure if I've said this. I know we said it in a text chain earlier, and I'd love for the people that are still listening to let us know. Do you reckon this season of football's been average so far? Like, I'm sure towards the back end of the year, we'll get some really good games because of the ladder, but I feel like these games, Jev, were happening every single Sunday last year. We had a cracker every single Sunday, 3:20. Collingwood were playing in games within like this the last 2 or 3 years. I just feel we haven't had that good a standard. Like, even if you have like GWS and Geelong, which on paper is a great matchup, but it's a blowout in the end. Like, teams just keep blowing each other out. So, look, I hope for the next few weeks we really start to see some really good games, but I just feel like there hasn't been that many close games this year. But this was awesome. I couldn't keep my eyes off it. 10 minutes to go. It was good. It wasn't it wasn't loose, scrappy. It was good footy, high intensity. That's why I thought Hawks and Freo last night was actually really good to watch. It wasn't clean at all, but it was a good game of footy. Yeah. So, and I thought this as well, like both teams were in it with a chance. You can almost book this game in every year. Swans, Saints, no matter where they are on the ladder, could be first, could be 10th.
Saints have a crack, 100%.
Yeah, they always play into each other.
I haven't watched the replay, Das. Did anything happen at the end? So as the siren went, when Jack McRae was running through the middle of the ground, I looked ahead and there was a Swans player and a Saints player lying on the ground. Was there any replays on 7 or Fox or whoever you watched it on of like a pull or a tackle to the ground or anything? Or did they just slip over?
No.
Because where we were sitting, he got the ball in the middle of the ground. We looked up and there was blokes lying on the ground in the Saints 50 where he was about to kick it. And I was looking at umpires like, are they about to pay a free kick after the siren is? So did anything happen there?
No, I didn't see. I legit watched the last little bit free. I thought there was going to be a free kick or a mark. There wasn't. Players were sort of laying on the ground because of the contest. And the umpires, you see him blow the whistle. That's the end of the game. And then I just flicked it straight across to Port Adelaide West Coast to watch the rest of that game.
Yeah, it was fucked. Errol's, that Brodie Grundy tap to Errol was right in front of me. The way, it's like your eyes take a movie. The way it just played out in front of me, he burst, Grundy got it right, and Errol's just on the pace. He had Brad Hill right there, so he had to snap it quick, and he kicked it. I'm like, that is the most talented goal you can kick sort of thing. Off the hands, 2 steps, left foot snap, bang, and you're like, You're a superstar. Welcome
He's a
back.
gun.
Has Errol played in a loss yet this year? I don't even know if he's played in a loss. Maybe one. But since he's been back, he's been on fire. So it is great to have him back. Yeah.
Before you get into the mods, what do you think of Marcus Winaga's game? I just feel he's getting better every week. Like
have 37 or whatever he had, like, good on him. Didn't have to tag today. I was positive he was going to go to Heaney. Said, no, let's go head to head. Jack Sinclair loves playing the Jack Steele loves playing the Swans. Jack Sinclair played really well. Windhager just got to go and get his own ball. They went head to head sort of thing. They did really well. Swans probably got the first quarter. Saints mids probably got the second and the third, and Swans probably won the last quarter.
Well, I'm just thinking out loud here. Like Marcus Windhager, like we'll think about the Saints needing to get like just a more bona fide midfield. Is there a better apprenticeship you can do in the AFL than running against the best opposition every single week?
Yeah.
And trying to do a job on them? You obviously up your intensity, up your physicality because you know what it takes at the contest. Yeah. And then they consistently take you to the right spots. And then we might see in another year or two that it's like, that's the ultimate apprenticeship. Go be a tagger. Go learn where to run, where to play, and then how to finish. And then, like, that's what I was just watching all day today. I'm like, fuck, he's covering the ground so well. Like, he always does. But instead, he was able to try and get offensive instead of having to worry about
you think how fit he would be and, like, intense and stuff. And then Rossler, like, just go hunt the ball all day. And finally, he's already at every contest as a tagger, fit as a fiddle. Now he gets to just hunt the ball instead of worrying about his man. And to walk off the ground 37 is not easy. So I'm not saying I didn't notice him at the game, but he didn't just stand out to me like Nas does. Nas just jumps out of the screen, like jumps out of the stadium, how much he stands out. But good on him. I got some odds here.
Yep.
So Jake Lloyd for 3. If anyone had Jake Lloyd for 3, I'll be shocked. He was $11. Nice. Max Hall, one of the most informed players in the comp, for 3 was $10.50. Will Hayward was $3.25 for 3. Cooper Sharman for 2 was $2.30. Big Jack Buller for 2 was $4.75. Love the look of Jack Buller. Had a crack today. Mitch Owens for 2 was $3.10. While I watch Mitch Owens today, I'm like, that is exactly who Carlton need. He's competitive as they come. He's hard as a cat's head. He gives a fuck. He chops out in the ruck and just competes in there. Like, he can play forward. He's just a competitor. I'm like, that is the sort of player Carlton need to be going after. Not all the talent in the world, but just cares.
You know,
just watching him live, I'm like, I see why the Saints supporters love him, because he rocks up with a 10 out of 10 attitude and effort every single week.
You know who I said? I've legit said this before. He's a younger, healthier version of what Jack Silvani is.
Yeah.
Like, legit. Like, he just rocks up, has a crack, pinch hits in the ruck, but he'll probably be a way better player at the end of that. That's exactly what it is. He's identical to Jack.
Yeah, I was so impressed. How's this? So single goal kickers. You know when single goal kickers just pop off the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Jack Sinclair, $3.10. Jack Steele, $3.40. James Rowbottom, $3.10. James Jordan, $2.05. Errol, $2.25. Angus Sheldrick, $2.85. Hugo Boxall, $3.40. You could have just scrolled through the any time at the end and picked any bloody order and you would have hit a multi today. I can't believe I didn't have it. Windhager for 35. Couldn't get him for 35. He was $21 for 30. Jack Steele for 25 was $3.10. That was StatMate's top tip of the day.
Nice.
He averaged 28 against the Swans his last 5, so they love that.
They've been on fire.
And Nick Blakey for 20 was $1.60. Nick Blakey loves playing at Marvel Stadium, Das.
Fuck, mate, honestly, the StatMate bets, their best bet trends, they've been on fire lately. So if you go to the points bet app, when you're going through the game, just have a look at it, take it with a grain of salt, whether you take it one out, but they've been on fire lately. On fire. And then
I reckon Jack still loves playing the Swans because he gets to like go head to head with Heaney. He's like, he's not tagging him, but he's just standing next to him and he gets to get his. So yeah, he played well. It was just, I'm happy for the Saints. They're looking good. You know, there's Ad Philippou. The Viking didn't do much today, but it was still good to see him in person. Yeah. Oh, who would you rather for the next 10 years? Jesse Motlop or Lee Henry? No, don't. Saints supporters, who would you rather for the next 10 years? Jesse Motlop or Liam Henry?
Can I get a fifth rounder? Can I try and
last game of the round? Port West Coast. West Coast came out and had a crack. I didn't see heaps the first half. I was watching the score. We were following our man Tommy Sheridan and his prophet propeller, and he needed Mitch Georgiades to kick 4. This is the worst beat of all time. He's kicked 3 goals, 5. You reckon he should have kicked 11, Das?
Easy should have had 11. He missed, he was on in the goal square. They wouldn't give him cheap ones over the back. There was probably about 3 or 4 times, just clipped to the ears that he didn't get a free kick, pushed over the line. A few triple clunkers he just couldn't grab. It should have been 11. The fact that you needed him for $20,000 to kick 4 goals and he kicks 3, 5 and then left probably 7 out there.
It cost a footy club 28 grand.
It's the worst beat I've ever seen. It's the worst beat I've ever seen in my life. But
28 grand points bet we're going to give to this footy club on Tommy Sheridan's pod. They needed Georgiades for 4 and he's kicked 3, 5. Oh, anyway, West Coast had a dip at the start, didn't they? This is just what West Coast do. Under Mini McWalter, they don't care. This is what I like. They don't care what the opposition's doing. They're like, when we get to prelim final weekend, this is how we're going to play with these players. So this is how we're going to play now. And Butters nearly has a 40 on their head. Horn France has 25 and 3. But they hang around all day and they just get it wrong in the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter. But at least, it would be fun rocking up to training on Monday if you're West Coast. And Mini McGold puts on the tape. He goes, look at this. We've been training this. You've nailed it for 3 quarters and 20 minutes. Now we're going to get that extra 10 minutes. So we're not worrying about whoever we're playing this week, we're doubling down on us again and we're going to work. How much does Harley Reid look like he's loving it? Yes, he gave away 5 free kicks today. He probably got a couple kicked on him by Horn France at the end. It's I'm happy for him how he's progressing. I think he nearly had a career high in 27 touches or something today. He gets to hunt the ball. He's looking more like a full-time midfielder again. He's sort of looking like a young Petrarca a little bit. Before Petrarca did his knee, remember he just got to run around a bit and get the ball when Melbourne played in that prelim when they probably shouldn't have made it there. So, yeah, I'm happy for West Coast. And to think they're on 1 win, they're probably going to get pick 1, but it's they're still sort of improving. They were 25 points up a quarter time. It's good on them.
Yeah. No, they definitely had a crack. And they kept mentioning it. Harley Reid was chatting all day, but then when he had the last 2 goals kicked on him, he didn't say much because you should have seen Horn Francis kicked 3. He'd already kicked 1 earlier. Butters blocked for him and he kicked this awesome goal from the boundary. And then the other one, he had Harley Reid on his tail and just outran him and then just went straight to him and was talking shit.
Just turned and looked at him, the last one.
Didn't say a word to him. But if you look at this game, I'd really be interested to see how the votes are because I was fuck, Horn Francis might get this back to a 3, but Zach Butters is best on ground. You watch the whole game. If you watch the whole game, Zach Butters is best on ground. Best of field, the way that he cuts. There was 3 or 4 times he takes it from half back to half forward by himself. Cuts, draws players. He just runs those angles. Yeah, draws someone in, little kicks over the top. And then someone was who's the young guy they drafted? Was it Tom McCarthy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a bit in the middle and Tom McCarthy's getting into him. Butters gets it, kicks it out to Ollie Wines and just fucking sprints so hard and then gets the ball back, kicks it, and he's just going up to him. He's like, mate, you got to keep up. You got to keep up. This is the end of the game. He just loves to compete. And we mentioned everyone that he was $81 for the Brownlow. And I was like, fuck, I can't remember if we put any money on him. So already at quarter time, he was into $61. Yeah. So we put some more money on him at 61. I can see him coming home, especially because Rosie's done his finger now. Yeah. He will come home and I've watched most of their games. I think he just gets the 3 every time. Yeah. He just stands out. He's such a good player. He's tight in the contest. He's quick. He's fast. But, yeah, it was a great win. Joe Richards should have kicked 5 or 6 as well. He missed a few chances.
I was listening to Triple M driving home from the footy. Tex was loving Joe Richards' work. Yeah. They're they've found one here. He's missed his chances, but he looks alive. He's got leg speed, turn of foot. They're yeah, they've found one here. They're going to be real happy with Joe Richards. So I'm happy, yeah. Georgiades is an absolute gun. He's impressed. He is so much better than I thought he was going to be. I'm so impressed with Georgiades. If I'm Port Adelaide, and I'm Butters and I'm Bergman and I'm all these guys, and I think Nas might be coming to town, I'm going nowhere. Nowhere. They've got some dudes, man.
You got to sign Butters. Yeah. I'm so intrigued to see if he goes where Ken goes, and he holds off on this thing. I'm just so intrigued, because the offer's been on the table for ages.
Yeah.
It's been on the table for a year.
It's crazy.
Let's
He's just letting it sit there.
Yeah,
and every time he gets 37, it goes up and up and up.
Yeah, it's smart. Is there any good odds in this one? Surely.
Yeah, so Georgiades for 3 was $1.44. That is short for 3. Jason Horne-Francis for 3 was $5.75. Joe Richards for 2 was $3.25. Darcy Byrne-Jones for 2 was $2.35. Jack Williams for 2 you couldn't get. Was he laid in or something? I couldn't find him anywhere in the odds.
Maybe.
Butters for 35 was $3.80.
Nice.
Harley Reid for 25 was $6. Jason Horne-Francis for 25 was $4.75. So Horne-Francis' game was about 22 to 1.
Nice.
Ollie Wines for 25 was $1.50 and Richards for 20 was $3.50.
Yeah.
That is the Sunday roast. We're about to get off this and film Hook, Line and Sinker for another week. Let's go, Das. Good to see you. See you at Hook, Line and Sinker.
Let's go.
Like and subscribe. Send to your mate.
By the way, next week's episode, we are going to be that dusty after the 100K house. So it's going to be an all-time listen.
Let's go. 100K house next week. Get a ticket. See ya.
What are you prepared to lose today? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.